Here with John Chisholm Enterprises as well as 180 Consulting. And today I just want to talk to you for a little bit of time. I'm going live here, and as a recruiter, but also as a team builder. I am considering right now. I'm actually in the process of doing a lot of research and putting my research down on paper, writing a book about this. And the key is I've been thinking a lot about this. As a recruiter, I spend a lot of time on the phone. As a recruiter, I talk to a lot of companies and talk to a lot of candidates. And I thought about this. I thought about how in the world could I make myself obsolete? How could I recruiter-proof your business? And as I was doing the research and et cetera, I found out that there was 4 keys to employee disengagement. And we've heard about this great resignation. And there's 4 keys to employee disengagement. And the problem is that this great resignation is happening, and sometimes it's happening right underneath your own nose, where the person has resigned, but they've not quit their job. They're still collecting a paycheck. That's the worst possible situation for a business. I've talked to a lot of people. I've done a lot of research, and I'm trying to make a proof for this book. So the title of this series, these kind of live webinars is Recruiter Proof Your Business: 5 steps to increase your employee engagement, stop turnover, and build a high performance culture. So in what I do day in and day out is I have the privilege of partnering with the #1 recruiting firm domiciled in the USA. We are the best. GPAC is the best. There is no doubt. In that partnership, I am privileged to be the number one drywall recruiter in the country. I partner with the other #1 drywall recruiter in the company. We form the #1 drywall recruiting team in the country. And so I get to source talent for the best specialty contractors all over North America. I've been working with this niche for the last 5 years. In recruiter years, that's like 25 years. My partner Sean and I have built the #1 drywall and paint commercial paint recruiting firm in the country. We have expanded to doing concrete epoxy flooring, concrete polishing, waterproofing, industrial coatings, et cetera. We've really expanded that over the last few years. So we have a lot of contacts within the specialty contracting industry. It's not an easy hill. It wasn't an easy hill to climb, for sure. I mean, but the reality is that working hard, you can pretty much do anything. And the coolest thing about my job is the culture. The coolest thing about my job is the culture, and that's kind of what I bring into it as well. As I built this business, I was about a little better than a third of $1 million in my first year. In my second year, I surpassed $1 million in business. I'm approaching now $2 million into business. But anyway, I've been able to do this until, and grow year over year. My company, which is really, really cool, is growing year over year. My recruiting firm, our recruiting firm, is growing year over year. But the reality is that in 2020, everything changed. Now, prior to 2020, prior to COVID hitting, I would need to reach out to companies and beg them to look at a candidate. There was a lot more, I guess, control on the company side than there was on the candidate side. In other words, I had more candidates that were looking and willing to make a change prior to COVID-19. Now, during probably about the next 6 months of 2020, hiring kind of froze because nobody knew. Working with specialty contracting firms, you're subcontracted. You're contracted by general contractors. The general contractors in some areas just simply were not doing any more work. Their work stopped. So a lot of smaller drywall contractors, a lot of smaller drywall companies fell off the map. And also a lot of the bottom tier of candidates kind of fell off as well. And here's the thing that communicated a couple different things. Number one, people began to realize that they could be lost at the drop of a hat. People that were really, really good at their jobs, project managers, estimators, superintendents, they lost their jobs. They got sent out on furlough because the company was trying to save money. And the company and the company, they simply didn't have the work to do. So these guys got furloughed, and they realized, I've given my life to this company. I've worked 50, 60, 70 hours a week. I've put off my family life. I've put off my family. I've missed baseball games. I've missed dance recitals. I've missed plays that my kids were in. I missed the parent-teacher conferences, all for what? This company, the minute that there's financial pressure, they just let me go. And so that kind of began that mindset. But the other mindset that people had was, hey, I don't have it so bad. I'm gonna hold on to this job for all I can. And the companies also responded by taking these top people and paying them reflective of fear of losing them. So they've kept them on. So over to 2020 and the beginning of 2021, the entire culture kind of shifted. And so we started to see this quote unquote great resignation, this thought process that business, work-life balance, culture, all these things, the culture and the work-life balance and the kind of speaking to the candidate, they had to see mission, value, purpose in going to work because they had kind of become grizzled, so to speak, by this whole COVID-19 thing. Companies, on the other hand, began to really, really overpay people and began to really, really want to hold on to people by paying them more and by making changes in culture. And it's these companies and it's these people that are successful in maintaining retention within their companies, in having a high level of employee engagement within their companies. It's these companies that have figured out a way to balance business with basically people fulfilling their own individual desires and needs within that company. They've figured out a way to build teams and to engage individuals to the point where the people want to go to work, that work is part of their life passion. And that's where companies are. Now, what I've found is that people do leave companies, individuals leave companies for several different reasons. But you look at money, you look at location, you look at things like a career trajectory, you look at things like I want to say work-life balance. These things all make up company culture, and these things are the reason that people are most likely to leave is because of company culture. But here's the primary thing that's disengaging people right now. There's 4 areas that people are getting disengaged, or 4 forces that battle against engagement. First and foremost, the reason people leave companies is because they're not aligned correctly with the job. Now, again, I point at myself. I'm a great salesperson, believe it or not. It's not arrogance on my part. It's true. It's something my family has recognized, about me at a very early age. They didn't necessarily align it with sales. They aligned it with BS, right? I don't have a fear being out there by myself on a limb. I'm not afraid of it. I kind of have an entrepreneurial spirit. I love people. I'm passionate about helping them. Even when they cannot see the problem I want to help them with, I like to fix things. So that's why I'm a good recruiter. I mean, I love. I'm a great recruiter. I'm a great business consultant. I'm a great coach. Why? Because I can help people see things that they cannot see and may not want to see. I see job fits where others cannot see them. And I'm passionate about helping people change and grow in awareness and success. And again, I'm not bragging about myself. I say, why would I brag about myself? But it's to illustrate a point. I did not come to this awareness except through experience and through the eyes of other people. I've been in many jobs in my career that have been in small parts misaligned and others in huge part misaligned. For me, the 2 weeks I spent in a factory on an assembly line was a painfully obvious misalignment that thankfully lasted only those 2 weeks. My teaching career lasted a bit longer, 2 years out of college and four more years mid-career. I loved the kids. I loved the study and preparation and delivery of materials, but I could not stand the administration and the politics. Those things took the love out of teaching for me. It burned me out. As a licensed customer service representative in an insurance agency, I was still the #1 salesperson and earned many bonuses and got kind of promoted from being just an administrator to being a customer service representative and was able to sell. But again, the paperwork dragged me down. And when I was offered an agency for my own, I jumped at the chance because I love the sales. And in the first couple years, first 3 years of the actually first 4 years of my insurance career, I blew away the team sales records, especially in life insurance. And again, I'm bringing this out here for a reason. After 1, 2, 3 years of growing a business, unfortunately, with life insurance comes car insurance and home insurance. And unfortunately, with car insurance and home insurance comes claims. And claims take our paperwork. And paperwork, believe me, takes the life right out of me. So I'm using this illustration to say that I am a salesperson. I'm an outgoing person. I'm a person that can grow. I'm a person that very much can grow a business. I'm a person that can sell. I'm a person that's passionate about growing business, that's passionate, has business ideas, has many different ideas about growing business, about marketing, about doing different things. However, when it comes to paperwork, when it comes to the monotony and the mountains of paperwork, it drags the life right out of me. And even the idea of hiring an assistant and training an assistant drags that life right out of me, because sometimes having to supervise an assistant is a lot of work. So we'll talk about that later. Point being that my strengths are over here, my weaknesses are over here, and I had a huge misalignment with the job because of the amount of paperwork that is part of an insurance career. So I have been in the wrong seat, and I know what it feels like. I know what it looks like. And sometimes you can't even see it in the middle of it. You just can't figure it out. Why are you coming across so drained? Why are you so frustrated all the time? It's probably because you're misaligned with your job. So the reality is that sometimes employees lack the behavioral traits or cognitive ability needed for success in the jobs that they are in. It's one of the greatest frustrations felt by many employees, and they can't put their finger on it. But it's also a frustration of the employers as well. So people are very nuanced, and though they have the technical skills that align with the type of job that they have, there's a feeling of unease, frustration, lack of purpose when you're in the job that is wrong for you. Unfortunately, these things cannot be found in any standard interview process. The interview process, most interview processes out there are not. They're just standard. They ask the basic questions. They say, if you were a flower, what kind of flower would you be? If you were a dog, what kind of dog you would be? What's your favorite food? And can you do takeoffs on a $1 million drywall project? It's basically most interview processes that I've heard about involve just talking about the resume and interviewing the person about what's on the resume instead of asking the real question: how they interact with people. What are their passions that drive them? And getting an understanding what their behavior is. And that's the cool thing. I've partnered with a company that allows you to build a better mousetrap. In other words, using personality and behavior and aligning it with the job, the hard skills of the job for the perfect fit. And even allowing people to ask the correct interview questions, etc. But we'll talk more about that later. So the company culture is one. If the company culture is one that does not encourage open communication, the employee, the team, and the company will suffer until the problem is addressed. But sometimes you can't even see the problem. You can't see the forest for the trees. So A disengaged employee who's misaligned with the job that they are doing will leave your company, or they will do damage to the team by becoming fully disengaged and collecting a paycheck while they're fully disengaged. So it's imperative that the ownership and management be aware of the people that are working for them, and that the people that are working for them are in the right jobs, or it will hold back the success of the company. So part of the science of engagement, and the very thing I help my clients with, is how to discover what is the right job for the right person. In today's post-COVID economy, no one is going to simply exchange time for money and spend time in a place where they feel misaligned. They're just not going to do it. They're going to become disengaged. That's going to cause damage to your team. They're going to be disengaged and still work for you and still get paid, or they're just going to simply leave. And when they leave, it causes a domino effect all the way down the line of your company. And that's a bad thing. The answer to misalignment with a job is to find a way that owners and managers and companies can work together with their team leaders to build job descriptions for individuals that align the individual with the hard skills and the soft skills to do the job within the context of your culture and the teams that are in place. In addition, owners and managers must work together to build teams that will perform seamlessly together. When you have individuals and teams in the right spot doing the right things, your company culture will grow, and that will result in higher retention, attraction, as well as higher profits. So getting the right people in the right job is the first step to addressing misalignment and recruiter proofing, really in reality, recruiter proofing your business, making sure that you have the right people in the right job. Now, next time, I'm going to address the other three forces of disengagement, and then following that, as we progress in this series, I'm going to talk about the ways that you can battle disengagement. I'm going to talk about the ways that you can fight against and battle those forces of disengagement. So just as an example, misalignment with a job, my recommendation that you will find later in future parts of this series is going to be using a high tech approach, a multi-faceted approach to hiring that's going to not only guarantee you that you get the right people from the outside in the right jobs in your company, but you also get the right people from inside your company into the right jobs and into the right fit. And believe it or not, it's not as hard as it seems. With the right coaching, the right consulting, and the right tools, you can become a professional at aligning your team and recruiter proofing your business. If you have people that are aligned with their jobs, they're happy with their jobs, they're happy with your company. If they're happy at their job, their own individual job, their own individual desk, if they're happy there, then they're going to be happy with your company. If they're happy with your company and they're happy with their job, and they know that they've got a future at your company, that they have a career progression at your company, they are going to stay. They're going to stay. They're going to be long-term employees. That's called retention. Retention is very, very important in the industry, but better than retention, a satisfied employee in the right job, in the right fit, is going to be the best advertising for your company as far as recruiting more employees into your company. So you've got retention, and you've got a recruiter that you don't have to pay. And that's the beginning of how you recruiter proof your business, is making sure, number one, first and foremost, that there is alignment with the job. Until next time, keep it real, and thank you for watching this series, and look for the book, 5 Ways to Recruiter Proof Your Business. Recruiter Proof Your Business: 5 Steps to Increase Employee Engagement, Stop Turnover, and Build a High Performance Culture. Again, until next time, I'm John Chisholm. Give me a call, 605-251-1216.